Imagine a plant that contains 64% omega-3 fatty acids, more than any fish, more than chia seeds, more than any superfood oil you've ever bought. Yet it isn't sold in capsules, it isn't advertised, and Western laboratories haven't studied it for decades. 500 million people in Asia eat it every week, but in the US and Europe, most people have never even heard of it. This is Perilla, also known as shiso in Japan, zisu in China, a plant that grows on its own, returns to the garden without planting, whose seeds remain in the soil for up to 5 years and sprout naturally, and which has been used for centuries as food, medicine, and even lamp oil. If you visit a Korean restaurant today, just watch. People take a piece of grilled meat, wrap it in a large green leaf with jagged edges, add garlic and sauce, and eat it in one bite. Tourists think it's decoration, but in fact, each leaf contains compounds that have protected people for centuries from bacteria and parasites, helped preserve food, and aided digestion of heavy meals. In Japan, a piece of sashimi is always served with shiso, and it's not just for show. In traditional cuisine, it was a means of safety and health, a habit that has survived for centuries. Perilla's history goes even further. In China, around 200 CE, it is mentioned in ancient medical texts for treating coughs, colds, nausea, allergies, and skin inflammations. In 17th century Korea, royal physician Hyo-jun devoted an entire encyclopedia to it, describing 17 different uses, from relieving nausea to improving digestion and reducing inflammation. In Japan during the Edo period, 90% of rural households grew it simultaneously as food, medicine, and a source of lamp oil. Before electricity, perilla seed oil lit homes, and the leaves were on every table. What makes it truly remarkable is that perilla doesn't need to be replanted. One harvest produces thousands of seeds, 85% of which sprout. Plant it once, and the plant returns every spring again and again for decades, creating a constant source of food and medicine. In agricultural terms, this is called naturalization, but for people, it meant safety, stability, and independence from markets. The leaves contain nearly 4 grams of protein per 100 grams, more than spinach and most green superfoods. Calcium, 230 milligrams, iron, 1.7 milligrams, vitamin A, 5,520 international units. The seeds are a true treasure of alpha-linolenic acid, the plant-based form of omega-3. In 1991, Indian researchers measured up to 64% in seed oil, a record among all plants on Earth. This means a plant that grows on its own can provide more omega-3 than any fish you've ever eaten. And here's the paradox. Despite all these facts, perilla is virtually unknown in the West. Fish oil became an industry in the 1980s. Fish in capsules are sold by the billions. Research is funded by profit-driven companies. Perilla isn't sold, doesn't require processing. Its seeds can't be patented, and it grows on its own, so it's simply ignored. But the plant waited. It survived dynasties, wars, colonization, industrialization, and the neglect of Western science. It continued to grow, producing leaves, seeds, oil, and protein. The most amazing part? You can plant it yourself. In most climate zones in the US, Europe, and Asia, perilla survives, adapts to poor soil, drought, and minimal care. Leaves can be eaten fresh, dried for tea, added to soups, or used to wrap meat. Seeds can be pressed for oil. One harvest, and you have a permanent source of omega-3 and protein for years, without factories, stores, or supplements. For ancient people, it was a natural means of survival. For modern people, an incredible opportunity. And now we stand at the edge. On one side, a tradition of thousands of years, proven by time. On the other, an industry selling supplements for $20 to $50 per jar. Perilla, however, grows freely, right at your fingertips, doing nearly everything people pay billions for. And here's where the story becomes truly incredible. Modern science has begun to confirm what people have known for thousands of years. In 2003, Japanese researchers gave Perilla extract to patients with seasonal allergies and recorded a 50% reduction in symptoms, all from a leaf that grows on its own in the garden, which Western pharmaceuticals had never even considered significant. The active compound, rosmarinic acid, turned out to be a powerful anti-inflammatory that blocks the enzymes responsible for allergic reactions. Researchers have observed this for decades, and perilla leaves contain more of it than any other culinary herb, more than rosemary, more than basil or oregano. But the miracles don't stop there. In 2010, Korean scientists studied diabetics given perilla leaf extract. After meals, blood sugar levels dropped by 23%, just from a leaf that self-sows in any garden. By comparison, pharmaceutical drugs that achieve the same effect cost hundreds of dollars, require prescriptions, and need monitoring for side effects. Perilla, however, is free, grows on its own, and can be brewed as tea or added to food. Perilla seeds are equally remarkable. Their oil contains up to 64% alpha-linolenic acid, the plant-based form of omega-3. Even flaxseed oil, often called a superfood, has less, around 53%, chia seeds, around 58%. Perilla oil doesn't require complex extraction, patents, factories, or marketing strategies. A simple hand press is enough to produce fresh, natural oil with record-high omega-3 content. One harvest of seeds can supply a person's annual requirement without any capsules or supplements. Looking back through history, it's clear why perilla survived for centuries. In China, it was mentioned in texts for treating 40 different ailments, from colds and coughs to digestive problems, skin inflammations, and allergies. In Korea, royal physician Hyo Jun devoted an entire encyclopedia to the plant, 17 ways to use its leaves and seeds for health. In Japan, it was so important that during the Edo period, 90% of households grew it not only for food, but also for oil, which was used to light homes before electricity. 3 functions at once: food, medicine, and light in the dark, all from a single plant. Here's the most paradoxical point. The Western omega-3 industry is worth $4 billion a year. Fish oil, krill oil, algae oil for vegans. The entire market relies on industrial production, processing, capsules, and complex supply chains. Perilla, however, grows on its own, requires no processing, cannot be patented, and needs no factories or distribution. It breaks all market logic. The seeds produce a harvest without repeat sales, and the oil can be pressed at home. It's free, accessible, and at the same time, a record holder for nutrients. And that's not all. The huge gap between Western and Asian science is simple to explain. Fish oil research was funded by the industry. Thousands of publications received grants and support. Perilla, by contrast, received almost no external funding. Most scientific papers on it come from Korean government institutes, Japanese universities, and Chinese medical hospitals. They exist, but for a long time remained inaccessible to Western audiences due to language barriers. 2,000 years of traditional knowledge were preserved in texts written in languages that Western science ignored. In the modern world, this plant remains practically a secret, yet it continues to do exactly what it has done for thousands of years. It grows on its own, providing leaves, seeds, protein, omega-3, vitamins, and helps with inflammation, allergies, and digestion. It adapts to poor soil, drought, and human neglect. It survives through wars, dynasties, industrialization, and marketing blindness. And anyone can plant it themselves. One harvest provides a steady source of food, oil, and nutrients for years. growing on its own, without intervention, without industry, without capsules. For modern humans, it's a lesson in how nature creates resilience and self-sufficiency. For ancient people, it was everyday security, considered normal life. For us, it's a discovery that challenges conventional ideas about nutrition, supplements, and health. A parallel reality where a simple green leaf can replace entire industries, and all of it grows right at your fingertips. And here's the final fact that astonishes. In gardens in Korea, Japan, and China, Perilla grows on the same plots for decades. No one replants, buys seeds, or fertilizes. It returns on its own. A single plant creates a constant source of food and health for multiple generations. And yet, almost no one in the West has heard of it. Perilla is a plant that has survived time, industry, marketing, and neglect, and still does what a plant is meant to do. It grows, reproduces, feeds, heals, and amazes. And now you know about it.